Okay, good evening everyone. I welcome you all to this True Digital Venture X fortnightly call today. It's our endeavor to, take ahead the funding of all the startups that are listed on our platform. Before I go to the detail, let me just introduce myself. I am Major General Digvijay Setia, Sena Medal and Vishish Seva Medal. I worked in the army for over 40 years. In the combat arm, I was in the Corps of Engineers, otherwise engineer by profession, and have been associated with True Digital and Sanjeev for the last 2 years. I am enjoying every bit of this journey with him. From the combat side of the army, 40 years, a disciplined soldier, I'm learning something about, startups, finances. For me, it's an amazing thing. Uh, and I must tell you that this fortnightly call, every time we have it, I receive a lot of feedback from the call that we've had, and everyone who joins the call has been enjoying it. Anyway, today, as of today, we have almost 235 startups on our platform. As you're all aware, it's a very democratic platform where one side we have the founders of the startups, and the other side we have uh, the the investors if they match up on their own. Otherwise, we scout the startups to the investors. But today we have the privilege of having two investors whom I would like to introduce before we go to the two dynamic and energetic founders that who are going to make their presentations on their businesses and their startups. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Prabhas Nirve. He is the founder and CEO of Jharkhand Angels. He's a postgraduate in HR from XISS Ranchi. He's a topper of his batch. A senior professional with 20 years of experience in some very big corporates. He's worked with ACC, VF Arvind. He was the head of HR in SAB Miller India. And in 2015, he quit SAB Miller and he founded this Flip Carbon, which he's been heading its consulting practice since January 2015. He is the virtual and shared CHRO at multiple organizations spanning various industries. He's the founder and CEO of Jharkhand Angels, as I told you all earlier, an angel network that is focused on Bharat. Some of his achievements are really astounding. He's said, he's some of the startups that have worked with him have grown phenomenally, maybe 20 times, 25 times in 1,000 days. He's also a very avid writer. Some of his writings have been published and acknowledged. I would like to read what his published works are. He's written Work from Home and Mental Well-being. This is a recent publication in 2021. Then the Misdirected Search for Talent in the Business World. This is a 2018 publication. He has a revolutionary streak. He doesn't like to exist with the status quo. And I think people who are great and who progress in life are people who don't like to stay with the status quo. So he's one of the uh, great writers, authors of so many published works. So we have the privilege of having him here today. Welcome, Prabhas, and I hope you enjoy this, the call with us today.
Thank you, Colonel. First of all, thank you for your service. Thank you also for the warm
Thank
welcome.
you.
One of the startups that you perhaps will be very close to your heart, where I was visiting their facilities yesterday in Bombay, is called Idea Forge. Last year they bagged a 150 crore order from the Indian Army for drones.
Drones, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was telling in the last venture call that look at how the technology is now proliferating from the startups. In the beating the retreat, if all of us, I don't know how many of us saw it, they had a startup called Boot Labs. That is a startup that was backed by IIT Delhi. And what a fascinating display of a drone. It was actually drone lighting that they gave. But something amazing, now drones are everywhere. It's not only the defense, it's agriculture, it's survey, it's surveillance. Everything is, the drones have proliferated everywhere. And obviously, without any doubt, the biggest user of drones that is going to come, and logistics, just see how they're going to come into logistics in a big way. But biggest user of drones will always be the defense forces. Next, we have, we also, I would like to welcome Mr. Harish Chandra, who's the founder of Motle Innovations. Again, a very, very accomplished personality. He's been a technology leader with 12 years with CTOs and CPO experience with banking, media, digital, financial. He's also passionate, very passionate about innovative developing products, big data technology, machine learning and data sciences, blockchain and large scale systems. He also, is a person who likes to, who believes and likes to continue in improvement and thinks in the future. Thinks, he's a thinker with about technology of the future. So he works with people with different abilities, and he's got strong experience in setting product and technology strategies in banking field. He's worked with Reliance Jio, ST Media, IndiaMart.com, and a number of startups like MobiWik, Ecom Server, OAT Systems. He is also a very, very accomplished and experienced personality. So I also welcome Harish. Harish, it's a great privilege to have you with us today on our call. I would, like to say a few words before I get the founders to have their presentations going.
Thank you for introduction, uh, uh, and also for the possibility to meet young people. I always look for young people and interact with them, and I already made investment in a couple of startups in the last 5 years, a very early stage and very minuscule, but that what interests me a lot. So it's my pleasure that I'm part of this, and thank you for this opportunity to be part of this particular discussion.
It's a great encouragement for our founders who are going to do the presentations and all those who are tuned into our call today. To have our some of our investors live today with us on this call. I'm sure we'll have more and more investors coming in, but thank you so much, Prabhas and Harish. I'll also like to set a few ground rules. We'll have two founders today doing their presentations. One is Shalom Kingston. He's the CEO of a venture called Carbon Hubs. This is a venture which is into clean technology. They are have devices and strategies and services for detection and purification of microbial this thing in the air. His business is a revenue generating business already, a running business, and Shalom, I think it's an exciting field that he's ventured into. A lot of people have shown interest into his technology and his business. He's also got some very sound financial. He's got some very sound, financial strategy worked out for him. We also have today with us, the second founders are Mr. Shubham Sarkar and Mr. Thomas Jacob from Infranet. They are into the IoT of industry enterprise products. I'm sorry, there's whenever a call some because I'm on a mobile, someone whenever a call comes, like the video gets disconnected. Uh, it's a it's again another great venture. We all know that IoT is the in thing today. I have a lot of friends who are into the IoT business. One of my friends is in very close by, who's close to me. He works only for the IoT of some big firms like it's called Zenith. The firm is called his startup is called Zenith, and he's into big business now. It's working worldwide now. What he's doing is he's only controlling the electrical gadgets and the electricity usage of big people like Domino's, KFC, McDonald's worldwide. It's a big venture that IoT is the future of technology now. Anyway, we also want to share with you that today we are doing a video recording. Sanjeev is doing the video recording of this whole call. It's actually for the purpose of putting it on the YouTube subsequently, so that if some people have missed the call, they can watch it on the YouTube. Also, if there are any commitments made during the call, we keep it for our record subsequently. Also, I would request everyone to be on mute while the founders are doing their presentation. We will have a small session of question answers subsequently. In any case, we go into a deep dive session subsequently with any investor who is interested later. I'll also take this opportunity to tell you that we have opened our franchisee issue also now, that we want some regional players to proliferate into the tier 2 and tier 3 cities to take our startup ahead, where we can't directly reach out to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So this is, I'll be telling you a little about it subsequently after the founders finish their presentation. Also, we have a new kind of a vertical that we started, where Sanjeev, our CEO, is interacting directly with the founders, and it's again a way of scouting them to the. It's like a over a cup of coffee that he's interacting with them. It's like a chat over a coffee cup, and then he's scouting them to the investors. So we'll have Shalom do the first presentation. I would request everyone to be on mute. If not, we will put you on mute subsequently. Shalom, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah, so let's have your presentation.
Great, thank you. Yeah. So just please confirm me if my video is available, like you can watch it.
Yeah, everything, I can see it very clearly. I'm sure everyone can see it, and I can hear you also very clearly.
Okay, perfect. So let me go ahead. I won't take much of your time. So I'm Shalom. I'm based out of Bangalore. I run a company called as Carbon Hubs. Carbon Hubs, a B2B focused air purification microbial detection company. We are one of its kind product and services that we are providing to B2B organization, specific to air related problems. This is a seed round. We have finished development of the product that's specific to B2B as well as in B2C as well. There are certain parameters that we like to display it to the investors and jury out there. We have had almost around 3 lakhs of an cc of purification of purification of air done from a single product. So we have roughly about 24 products sold. So there's more than around 1 crore of an purification of an cc of air has been done from our end as from our products as well. So going to that, like what's the vision as a product we have? Since in the existing market we have products that are doing air purification, microbial detection in a very small scale or in a very niche scale, I would say, in specific to the purification that is there in the market. There's a very huge gap in terms of technology and in terms of bridging the gap as well. Mission would be the right fit in that, where we're trying to put our technology, our designs into the product, in the existing product as well as a retrofit or a standalone, where we are able to provide them the purification that is needed to be done in the B2B and B2C sectors. So going ahead with the problem that we're trying to solve, it's quite simple. India is one of the most polluted countries, I would say, and there is equally increase in technology, there's equally increase in deforestation, there's equally increase in air pollution quantities. Quality levels have been decreasing there, and we do not have any standard solutions, or we do not have any particular solutions that the B2B organizations follow. They usually put a device called as HVAC systems, which is capable of purifying like around 15 microns, 20 microns. They're not able to go beyond that in a very large scale. So that is a major problem. There are roughly about millions of air pollutants, but we are focused on 3 air pollutants that are causing various problems at PM 2.5, PM 10, and the harmful gases and the microbes. So these will be the 3 ranges. So PM 2.5, PM10 falls under one. Harmful gases falls under one, and microbials falls under one category. So COVID will be the right example for microbial. People have understood what a microbial infection can do to a huge company, irrespective of the revenues or irrespective of the employee size. A small microbe can cause a huge impact on the organization. So that was one of the, I would say, a blessing for the organization, where we were able to prove the problem or show the problem to the bigger organizations. And meanwhile, the PM 2.5, PM10 has been bothering the Indian organization or the Indian company specifically from a very long time, where we are trying to provide the solutions. So these actually are the products that are providing the solutions. So you might be asking, okay, these are the products. What is the solution that we provide? So in respective of the existing market known as HVAC systems, it can provide only around air purification up to like 6,000 square feet of an area, and they can reduce only on less than like more than PM 2.5. They can't go less than PM 2.5, and the efficiency drops from almost around 80% to 60% within a month. The reason being, HVAC systems are meant to run a very large scale, and since HVAC systems are not able to purify a very large scale, they reduce a lot of the purification has been reduced drastically within a month, and there's no additional services provided. Whereas within our organization, we're able to reduce the PM 2.5 and PM10 within a span of 4 hours, from almost around 600 to 700 to, or we bring it down to less than like 200 or less than 100. We have even got less than 100 as well in certain cases. And in terms of any B2B organization that wants to know a microbial detection, they have certain method or technology that's been followed. It takes roughly about 14 days for them to find out what is the microbe present in them in the particular premises. Let's keep around 30,000 square feet of an area if the B2B organization is generally there in Bangalore. So it takes roughly about 14 days to find a specific space of like 8,600 square feet. Within a product, instead of 14 days, we are able to identify the particular microbe within 4 hours. So what use it might be bringing is, let's keep an organization that's roughly about 5,000 employees. One particular person is being infected. So by the time they identify the particular person, it's evident that one particular microbe infection, irrespective of what is the infection, it can tend to move around to different people. In a span of 14 days, I would believe like roughly around 10 to 15% of the entire population of that particular employee circle will be contaminated. So instead of having that huge contamination, we are able to identify the particular zone or the area where the contamination is within 4 hours. We're able to place the product in HVAC or in any of the retrofit devices, in any of the HVAC systems we can place it, or a standard device. We're able to reduce the gas particles. One of the most interesting thing that I would say is we take roughly about 1 to 2 hours to reduce the gas particles. Almost around 5,600 square feet of an area, we're able to reduce the gas particles by within 2 hours. So that are major things that we're adding into the existing market. So that would be major features in TurboX. Mini Fleet just carries the same technology in terms of the size is just reduced. The microfeed is one of the products that we are regionally developed, which is a B2C product we are trying to get into the market. And one of the major things that the reason we are targeting the B2C is the existing market. People do not know what is the effect of the air purifier. They just see the brand, they just see the sponsors, they see the it's more of like a network effect that's happening in the B2B organizations, B2C organizations. So we are able to identify the particular point where the customer needs to know what the problem is and provide a solution. So this is a product that's a B2C, and Carbon also is a B2B product. So these are the portfolio of product that we have in our hold, and these are the solution as well that we provide to them. And in depth, what actually the product looks like. There's something very brief on what the product looks like. In depth, we have this just the outline of what the product looks like and how the purification being carried out. And it's almost have 9 levels of purification, where we have roughly about 6 provisional patents being done. 3 for the design, 3 for the methodology, in terms of identification of the microbe and in terms of reduction of the microbe as well. In the existing market, we have ion technologies that just pumps out almost around millions of ions, but we do not have any technology that can predict it. So we are able to do that. And then just briefing on what the solution that we do. As I told you, these are the solutions that we provide. Instead of 14 days, in 2 hours, you're able to identify it. Instead of having wearing and tearing of the HVAC system, we are providing them with a standalone device. And existing HVAC system do not have any AQIs, known as air quality index, where we provide them with the air quality index with the solution as well. And we are able to reduce the gas particles. That's a huge advantage in the existing HVAC system. So all the pollutants that is in the market, we're able to reduce it with the 9 levels of purification in the product. So what exactly the market that we are into? We are looking at a $220 million of a market in India alone, which is gradually growing. And also one of the in the entire slide that here, I would actually like to highlight a particular point that is in the last box towards the right. If you see, the air purification was actually installed. Only 9% of the entire B2B organization had HVACs being installed. That is only 9%. But the number of but the number of purification that's installation has been done is almost 60.3%. That's quite high. That's a huge increase, I would say, from 9% 60%. And also the government is actually working its way to improvise the proper air quality levels for the B2B organizations, where they can actually have a proper purification done, where our technology will be the right fit or will be the right fit in the gap to provide the technologies. So what exactly a business model looks like? These are some of the business models that we have developed and is working as well. In terms of sales, we're directly working with some of the innovation hubs that are connected to the IT companies. We are working in partnership with the government as well as into certain sectoral based companies that are providing services to the hospital sectors. Early adopters will be moreover like the companies that or the organization or sectors that are adopting our technology or adopting the method that we're trying to provide them the solution much more faster compared to them. The reason we are not added a healthcare sector, which is a major dominant sector for us, is because the time required for them to take a decision is quite long, and it's a data-driven process where we're also working in that as well. Some of the customers, whether it's international or it's in India, we are providing service to the organization, and our revenue comes through two models. That's directly selling the product, and second, most of the healthcare sectors required a solution of microbial detection. So we have a revenue basis of like rental as well as service basis of the product as well. So going in depth in what actually the market or the particular zone that we have looks like, these would be some of the sectors or some of the competitions in terms of the technology available in the market. So we are one of the companies that provide the solutions in a much more easier and convenient way to the B2B organizations, and the rate at what we are purifying is comparatively high compared to market standards, as well as the microbial detection is quite high. And the services that HVAC provides is almost around 10 months, one services where we provide them around 2 to 3 months. And even in the basis of distributors, we have almost around 10% of higher distributor models compared to the existing market like a Blue Star or Godrej. That's a market standard that we are trying to adopt to. And in the B2C specifically, what will be the competition? These are some of the competition in terms of startup or well-known brand, what we are trying to do, and what is the purification levels that we're providing to, and as well what is actually the main reason we're trying to do this is actually we're trying to tell the customer about the problem that is most required, identify the particular microbe that's present, irrespective of just telling them it's getting purified. So these would be some of the competitions in terms of B2C, and this will be the team that we are working along with. I'm Shalom, heading the organization. I have experience in terms of in BSNL as well as Cognizant, and I headed marketing in Chorus. So that would be a background in terms of my work experience. Mr. Suresh has 25 years experience in mechanical development in SKF. And Sheetal and Shoaib are the team that is working on marketing and sales. Shoaib had experience in a previous startup in Chorus as well in terms of heading B2B sales. And Sheetal has experience in terms of digital marketing and B2B organized connections. These should be our mentors and our incubations hubs where we have received the help in terms of development of the product. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at raising a 2.25 crores of an investment with a 15% of an exchange. We do have certain commitments from Mumbai Angels as well. We are going for WFC. We are in the initial process, as well as in 100x is still in the process. We have finished the first 2 rounds and we're still going with the second round as well. These would be the strategic plans that we are trying to develop, or we are yet to develop in what we are trying to do. These are the sectors where each of the money will be going in. This actually is a projection in where, even though if we do not receive fundings, what will be the graph? We'll be having a slow growth, I would say, in terms if we don't receive the funding. And in this, if we have a funding, we have another presentation that if any of the investors would like to have that, we'll be able to show that in depth what as a company, what as an organization that we have achieved. I would say we have achieved almost around 10 Pan India awards, and also we can see to the left corner we have been recognized by MSSW as well as in IIT, that this kind of technology can actually help in COVID and other microbes that are yet to come, and which can help in prediction as well in reduction. So these would be some of the small innovations that we have developed in our organization and have received out of it. And that would be my presentation. I'm open to questions right now, sir.
Yeah, anyone has any questions? Shalom will be very happy to answer them. Even as a part of the presentation, if anyone has any questions, maybe it was a little fast forward that Shalom went through, but anything you want to ask him, you can write to us and we can get you the answers to that.
I just want to add that we are evaluating to make an investment in the carbon hub, and we are in talk, and we already had a couple of discussions with Sarah.
That's great. Thank you, Harish. I am sure
So from a product perspective, it looks good. Although, Shalom, to be honest, I think it's a little crowded space currently. A lot of people are trying to do work here. No?
Right. Yes.
So creating the differentiator is slight bit of a challenge. So the brands which are doing it will have the brand differentiation. You can go on mute, whoever has the background music.
Gopi, can you go on mute? Gopi, can you go on mute, please?
Gopinathan, sir?
Gopinathan, can you go on mute, please?
Yeah, Shalom, sorry about that. So what I'm saying is you'll have to really figure out what's the differentiator, right? Because technology differentiator, no, I do one camera, then somebody does two cameras, then somebody does three cameras, that's how, and then nobody uses any of the three. Understand? So that's something that I want you to really think about. I'm not looking for an answer, but really think about it. Broadly, green technology is something I'm happy to take to Jharkhand Angels, definitely. So that's something we can consider. But I'm still looking for that one good differentiator for the product.
Yes, sir. We do have the answer. Maybe after this call, we will connect, and I will be able to justify that question that you asked. That will be the
sure.
right way to do.
Anyone else has any more questions for Shalom before we move to the second startup for the presentation?
Yeah, I will just take a moment here. So Shalom, just to summarize, you are diluting 15%. So your valuation is 15 crores, right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
All right. And in your cap table, what is your cap table actually? How is it looking?
At present, the founders hold majority stake in terms of incubators as well as in discussion. In terms of the round, we want to close a round and go ahead with the cap table of who's going to lead the round. So that would be actually now at present, majority of the stake is with the founders.
And have you diluted to Mumbai Angels and other people that you're talking already?
No, at present we're not diluted yet. The reason is because we are just in process where we have to discuss on finishing the rounds.
And what is the valuation you are working with them currently?
Same, 15.
Same, 15 CR.
15.
15.
Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot for the information.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Shalom. It was a great presentation, and I'm sure a lot of people liked it. You were into a very innovative field, I must say that. Now, I'll request Mr. Shubham Sarkar, who is the CEO, and Mr. Thomas, who is the CTO of Infranet. They are an industry-ready IoT enterprise product startup. We'll have a presentation from the founders. And I'll also again request everyone to be on mute because let's hear the founders first. And any questions at the end of the presentation, we can ask the questions, and both Mr. Shubham and Thomas would be very happy to answer our questions. Shubham, can you go ahead with your presentation?
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot for giving this opportunity. I'll just check with the screen, just confirm whether you were able to see it or not.
Yeah, we can see that.
Sure. Okay. Thanks a lot, sir, for giving us this opportunity. We are a new startup in the IoT segment, and I would like to start off with the fact that we are into the infrastructure management space and trying to provide this customer a very basic need which has been there for long ages in terms of the management of unified platforms, the unification of multiple silos based platforms which are available already, and then to have a collaborative operations and maintenance thing, so that uh, so that the customer would understand and have the clarity about how things are working, which is at present being done manually. So, to introduce ourselves, we are Infinite Technologies. We started off in the previous year, April 2021. As of now, we are clocking at 1.6 crores of revenue, which is realized. We have major projects which have come from the data centers, smart cities, one large infra, and the AMCs. Our customers, as of now, big names like Rital, Railtel, NIC, High Court, CCDNS, Bank of Bhutan, Coal India, and Aizol Smart City. Uh, we are three founders, me, myself, Shubham Sarkar. I have along with me Mr. Jacob Thomas, who takes care of the technical and the technology aspect of it, and my other colleague and my partner, Mr. Anil Sode, who is having the background of the operational management. And the best part is that we are amalgamation of three different verticals put together, and that's why we think and we are confident enough that we will be able to deliver what the customer requires. Now, going forward, we are typically focusing as of now in the three verticals, which are the data center infra management, which is a buzzword in the industry as of now, and people are creating huge lot of data reservoirs both in the north as well as west, and then you have people coming in south with too much of co-location sites coming up. So this is one of the biggest market segments that we are targeting at. Apart from that, we have the smart cities and the campus solutions, uh, which are there for the customer, and the government is also propagating the smart city and the smart village concepts, and we are also on that with the solutions which are readily available for them. And the third is one of the biggest segments that we are talking about is the urban transport infrastructure management, which typically would be the metros, the airports, and the other regional transport mechanisms which the government is focusing too much on, where you have the golden triangle coming in, uh, uh, government investing too much on the connectivity part of it. So we are focusing, and we have the understanding of the market, coupled with the understanding of the customer, which is probably to have a platform which would give them a unification, or I would rather prefer to say a combined introspection into how the things are working or the equipments are working, which have been put across in the capital investment by the government, and then make out whether the investments that have been put across would rather give you the ROI, and thus taking it forward. So the market that we are talking about, if you look at the global scenario, you would find that it is almost more than 1850 billion dollars, out of which 300 billion dollars is the estimated market for the IoT, and beyond that, you would understand that it almost 50% of this IoT market is predominantly being understood by the smart cities and the enterprise IoT. So we are focusing on this 50% of the market, and uh, we we can give the solution which the industry needs. So, why Infinite and why now is because uh, we have we have understood what the customer requires. We make up to those requirements and do the customization, which is our biggest strength, and then showcase it to the customer in such a way that it is a win-win situation for both the organizations. So, as of now, we have interacted with the government organizations which have put faith into us by giving us orders, and we have been very fortunate enough to have delivered those projects successfully. We have the completion certificates from the government organizations directly, and apart from that, we have, uh, since we are from the industry, we understand where the market is going, and we are taking our products to the next level in correspondence to the market's requirement. Uh, Thus, we would like to have people on board with us who understand the technology as well as uh, the market. Now, what sets us apart is the part that we have a unified management platform which takes care of the end-to-end KPIs, uh, uh, which are being taken from the customer directly and put into the system and made automated. Uh, the platform that we have created does not take into consideration does take into consideration all the type of asset classes, whether it is electrical asset or a non-electrical asset, or basically IT asset. We have the complete um, platform. We will come to it on the next slide, where we would make you understand how the protocol stacks are getting integrated into us. The system is a plug and play kind of system. We give the solution to the customer, and it's easy and easy to deploy, and takes very little time to integrate with the systems. We are open to all kind of future elements which would come into the picture. Now, coming to the strategic rationale which we have is that we uh, are we want to grow into the elite class of IoT companies which are coming up in a big way uh, into the non-IT and the IT segment, clubbed together on a single dashboard. We want to be a financially independent organization, and grow in the global business, because this is something which is a huge market potential, not only in India but outside India. And since we have the development in house, so we can do the customization and do the developments in terms of the customer's requirement per se, which changes over time, and thus creating a market position, getting profitability, and generating the cash flows. So the opportunities are huge. If you look at the market in India itself, if you look at the urban transport market opportunities, you have almost 15 odd metro lines which are proposed by the government. There are RRTS lines which are also in the regional uh, railway transport systems, which are also being proposed across India. Apart from that, there are huge potential in the data center colocation market, with the Protection Act coming into picture, and then we have the positioning done in the Middle East. We are already working with a couple of partners in Oman, and then we have one partner to all the equipments, whether it is electrical equipment, say a DG set, a LT panel, a UPS, or an energy meter, along with the equipments like a server, routers, switches, databases, and all this connected to the same enterprise bus, which makes them in a common language. And then we analyze that data which has come up, and then create a parent-child relationship with those, and showcase it on the dashboard with a clear understanding of uh, how the system is working. If there is a problem, which system would take care of it, who is responsible for getting it repaired, and how much time did it take to get it repaired. So we are doing a 360-degree approach of the maintenance part, which is very, very crucial in terms of the operations post the supply and the installation. So we have been able to connect with uh, the major OEMs for the retrofit solutions. For greenfield, we have the complete solution. For retrofit solutions, we have the connections done with HP, IBM, Siemens, Honeywell, Emerson, and other people. So this is one of the first product that we have developed. It's called Infrasou. It's basically the enterprise management supervisor. It is typically meant for smart cities and large infrastructure projects, wherein you have multiple kinds of equipments which are placed in the facility, and you need to monitor them whether they are functioning properly or not, and then keep a track of all the events which happen, and then give SLA charting, dashboards, and all those stuff. This is typically for the data center practice. We in the industry it is known by DCIM, Data Center Infrastructure Management. We call it as IDCS. In this, we are typically managing the equipments which are related to the data center, even inside the data center, the IT equipments up till the application performance monitoring. So to to tell you very exactly, we are a combination of multiple OEMs put together, removing the manual interventions. So you would in a typical facility, you would data center facility, you would have the BMSs, and then you would have the enterprise management solution, and for each of the equipments, and all these are being managed by a couple of people, one from the facility side, one from the IT side, and then they giving all the reports to one person who would be the operations head, and then he makes a decision whose fault was it in any of the events that have occurred. So we are automating all these things in the system, taking into consideration all the SOPs which the customer has set and put it into the system. So all the manual interventions are gone. The system takes care of itself, takes a note of all the issues which would happen, and then showcase on the dashboard with all the details. This is typically for the stations. For the urban transport thing, we can manage the electrical network, the network backbone, the radio systems, the public address systems, and the cooling system, all put together on a single dashboard with all the ticketing done. So the ticketing that we are talking about is a unique feature which is not available for the non-IT equipments as of now. These are available for the IT equipments, but we have clubbed it with the non-IT equipment so that we can create the correlation between all both these things. And this is possible because we have the base solution, which is called Infrasou, which is the operation infrastructure supervisor, which actually categorizes and takes the inventory, uh, does the asset categorization, the management of all the equipments and the performances are kept in this with all the uh, equipment details. Just sorry. So the value-added benefits that we have highlighted already are that we have a unified infrastructure management solution which is future ready, which has the understanding of the customer's requirement, which is put across in the system. All the things are automated, the faults are recorded, they are channelized to the concerned person, the escalations are managed, everything is logged. Uh, we have already connected it with multiple communication modes, including the SMSs, emails, WhatsApp, which are very, very important for the operations management. We take care of the inventory in this, which gives the complete understanding of how the equipment has performed throughout the life cycle, and keep a track record of all the events which have happened, how the vendors have responded to the queries or the incidents which have been raised. Then we can have the interactive dashboards for all these equipments. And to top it all, it's typically a audit system which would keep a track of the trends and the patterns. We are a vendor agnostic platform. Since we don't manufacture the end equipments or the sensors, we are open to integrate with any kind of equipments, whether it is a retrofit equipment, whether it is a new setup, whether you have the solution or the element manager already available with the customer. We can sit on top of all these element managers, become the manager of manager for them, and then give them the understanding how they're functioning. So as of now, like I said, we have already clocked in 1.6 crores of revenue. We have a potential of almost 7 crores in the coming financial year, wherein we already have a pipeline of more than 16 CR in our kitty. We completed the product in the month of August. We got our first order in the month of July. We deployed our first the product by October, and we have as of now realized 1.6 crores. We are looking at investment of 3 crores with, as against in the dilution of almost 10% of our equity. Uh, we understand that this money would be typically being used for the expansion of the market for us, because it's a very huge market, and we want to cater to multiple regions, not only in India but outside India. For that, we need people. We need the resources, and that's what we are looking for in the investment. This basically shows how we would utilize that money which we would get. As of now, we are sorry. As of now, we are spending our expenses in the ratio of 70/30, 70 being the salaries and rest being all the expenses. We are estimating that going forward with the team expanded, across the regions, we would be doing the spendings in the tune of 80-20, and this ratio would be dependent upon the investment that we get. So that's all for from our side. Any questions, we would be happy to answer, sir.
Any questions, please, for Mr. Shubham? I am telling you, it's a good presentation that Shubham gave. Wonderful. IoT is the future of things, future technology of this world today. Everything is going to be run by the Internet of Things very soon.
Shubham, let's connect for one more discussion. Beyond this, I would like to understand a little bit more few details that we can discuss.
Yeah.
Sure, sure, Harish.
Yeah, and from my side, Shubham, I just wanted to understand. See, while I completely agree with Colonel that the future is tech, I also believe that the world moves at different pace, at different places,
Yeah.
So we still have people who have the biggest of the cooking range, and we still have people who are still burning fossil fuel, underneath two bricks and cooking on top of that. So when the world moves at different paces, the scale of a particular product also moves at not the most optimum pace, but different paces. So you'll have to kind of help me understand uh, how this will scale and to what extent it will scale over the next whatever horizon you are thinking about.
So Prabhas, we started off in April 2021. We already had the idea of the market. We started building the product first, and then going into the market, meeting with the people, making them understand that we have a product which they are looking for but have not found it. So it's typically an operations management tool which is always a missing portion. So even if all the government tenders that have come out in the recent years that you would find, the government plus point of the government as of now is that the government has really started emphasizing on uh, the operational expense, which was not the case in the previous years. If you look at in the years 2012 to 2016 or something, you would find that the government tenders would come as two separate things. One would be the capital expenditure that they would make, and the other would be the operational expenditure. But as of now, if you look at the tenders which are coming out, you would find that these tenders are coming out for minimum 5 years of total cost of ownership of these things. So the government is also understanding that it's not important that you spend a lot on the product and put it across, but it's more important to have those working. We are giving them the understanding that yes, that can be done. This is possible. You can keep a track of it, and it is not manual. So now it is taking a little bit of time, so that because it's a set pattern by big people and big giants in the industry. But if you look at the prospect that we are talking about, recently IBM has been spun off one of its vertical, the services vertical, and it's called Kindle now. Kindle is typically trying to do the same thing for data center. We are trying to do the same thing for all the infrastructure, because if you look at the infrastructure that we are talking about, even if it is a metro infrastructure, it is a data center infrastructure or a facility infrastructure, the infrastructure is the same. You would have the same DG sets, you would have the same cameras, same uh, sensors, same HVAC equipments. All these are same. Only thing is the priorities for those equipments change. For example, in a data center, the escalator would not be important, but for a metro or a railway station, the escalators or the elevators are really important, because they are meant to do a purpose of getting the people. So we have tuned our product or the solution that we are offering in as per the requirement of the customer, and then give them a resolution of the problems that he is facing as of now. All our systems are intuitive in nature. They have the artificial intelligence clubbed with the machine learning to give you the preventive, proactive maintenance along with the inventory, asset, and all these things are done on a single dashboard. So this is a complete package, and when we give it to the customer, it is not in modules, but we prefer to give the customer the whole complete package to them, because it makes more sense if you take a frame of glass, a spectacle, and you don't have the glass, and you give the customer that you pay me extra for the glasses. It does not make sense. It makes sense if it is clubbed together. So we are giving this platform clubbed together with the help desk and the operation management tool, with the real-time data analysis also.
Fair. So let's connect offline after this, and
Sure.
maybe over the weekend, and let's understand this.
Sure,
Yeah.
Prabhas.
So just want to add here to all the startups and everyone, if you are looking for co-founder also, you can request the same here. There is a lot of people who are watching you and may want to join you for, if you are looking for that, because many people have come with that request as well. And
Okay.
and Shubham, just to summarize for you, your valuation is around 30 crores.
Yeah, as of now, yes.
All
We
right.
haven't done any valuation as of now because we started off in April. We are still to do our balance sheets and close
And
our
how is your
books.
cap table looking? I'm sorry, nobody asked the question. I wanted to understand that. What are the stakes in your company?
So we are three people equally divided the shares among us.
Uh, you,
30% each.
Mr. Jacob,
And
and
Anil.
Mr.
Anil.
Anil Sauda. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. And how are you going to dilute? Each one of you will dilute equally, is it?
yeah, we'll dilute equally.
All right. All right. Over to you, Major General Sir. My questions are over.
Harish, you were wanting to ask something from Shubham?
Yeah, I would be asking for a focused discussion with him. Actually, I have to rush now. I already have
Okay. So I must convey my very special thanks to Harish. He is in a hurry, but thank you so much, Harish, for joining us on the call today. You know, it's a great encouragement for the founders of the startups to have investors here like you and Prabhas. Shubham, I must say it was a very wonderful presentation. My very basic understanding is that IoT is going to replace everything very soon. Basically, from the very, at the basic level, what I know is that the building management systems are being replaced by the IoT management of the buildings today. This is what I have seen very closely. I was also associated with the smart cities, at the Ministry of Urban Affairs. I was a member of that committee when this smart cities were being identified, and with Mr. Puri, I have had a number of interactions with him as a representative of the defense
Okay.
forces that time.
So,
Anyway, it was thank you so much, Shubham, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of connections after this presentation today. I wish to thank both the founders, Shalam and Shubham. Also, a very special thanks to Prabhas and Harish for having been here with us on the call.
My
I'll
pleasure, sir.
request, yeah, thank you, Prabhas. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, it's a great motivation for the founders. And thank you to everyone else. Before we wind up, I want to tell you that, we've had a video recording of the whole call. We'll be putting it up on the YouTube. You can go to our site, and in the past events, you can see this. It comes in the under the future engagements and future events. Then you come to the past events, and then you can go over the presentations again. Some of you who may have missed it, or you would have been able to go through the whole presentation. It's available there. I would also again like to reiterate that we have launched our franchise program called the Director X, where we'll have regional offices, and a small mail from you to us can initiate this process. All of you who are tuned in, we have a feedback on a Google form. It's on our site. You can fill that so that we know that what has been the quality of this call, and we can improve it for the next time. Sanjeev, would you like to add anything? Otherwise, it's been a wonderful session today evening, I must say. Both the founders were good, and a very special, achievement today. We've had Prabhas and Harish here as the investors with us.
No, it was great, sir. I think almost everything you have said already. What I would only add is that this recording will go to a lot of people who couldn't join because they have sent me WhatsApp messages that we are busy and all that. So they might also come back to you when they will see the recording. So that's the only thing. I will send it to the whole invite messages that I've sent to people. So you may expect to hear from other people as well.
And we look forward to more people and all of you at least joining us for the next fortnightly call. That's every fortnight. We will put the details on the LinkedIn, and we will surely through all digital media we will try to advertise the call. Thank you so much, everyone. Had a great evening today with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good night. Bye.
Okay. Thank you and good night. Thank you.